All right, welcome, Mentorship Masters. Mentorship Masters. It's got a meaning to it. It's not. Remember, we're not. It's not Mentorship Master. It's Mentorship Masters. Okay, and the reason it's called that is because each and every one of us is a teacher, a trainer. That's my goal is to fashion and coach and train and mentor you guys into becoming teachers in your own right, so that you not only know this stuff, but you actually can teach it. Um, I can hear someone. Make sure you guys mute yourself. Um, Patty Lynn, can you mute people as an admin? Tinker around and see if you can do that. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Am I muted?
Joe Font,
Yeah.
Joe Font, we can hear you.
Oh crap. Well,
Yeah.
I can't. My name is not up there anymore. So how do I
Well,
get my name back up to
well,
unmute?
we see your name here. If you want to talk, it's okay. But if not, just mute yourself. It should be on my screen. It's in the lower left hand corner. Where's it at? Go ahead.
I can't mute anybody. I just went through all the settings.
So just guys, mute yourself if you're not other you're one in the background and all. And we record these because not everyone can attend the live meeting. So there's also a chat box right here. So if you have anything you want to mention to me that you don't want to say out loud, just throw it in the chat. Hey, we're gonna have a good time. We have a very exciting meeting today. Got a lot of stuff to cover. You guys know that last week I was in I was going to say New Orleans. I was in Vegas and was at the Next Level Agents Conference. Had a great time there. Got to hang out with Annette, one of our members that lives in Las Vegas. And we had our first ever Mentorship Masters retreat, if you will, where we just kind of connected. Typically, those will be a full day, like a full day event where you guys can fly in, just hang out with me for a full day, and we just learn and grow. But these meetings that we have, this is our weekly meeting that we have just to bring you guys up to speed and answer any questions you have as well. So this was our book of the month, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And I want to see if anybody has any ahas. This actually was our book of the month for 2 months because it's so big that it ended up stretching out to 2 months. So I wanted to share with you something that I really, really like from this book. And it talks about the 3 steps to success. This is on page, for those of you that have the hard copy, I know some of you guys just listen to the audio book. Judy Wood says, good morning. Mina says, good morning, folks. Lucas says, money. And Lucas says, good morning, masters. See, each one of you, Sabu says, good morning, masters. Every one of you is a master. So I want to be able to say, Master Mina, Master Joe, Master Lucas, etc. Okay, so the 3 steps to success. If you just joined Mentorship Masters, this has been our book of the month. Every month we'll have a new book that I suggest to you guys, and that you read. Readers are leaders. If you want to be a leader, you become a reader. So the 3 steps to success. Number 1, and this is again on page 157. The first step to success is to find out the thing that you love to do, then do it. Right? That seems so obvious, but here's the truth. I was listening to Kevin Trudeau this morning in my training time, my learning time, and he mentioned a stat that 95% of Americans, 95% of Americans die with less than $1,000 in the bank. 95% of Americans. That doesn't count all the other countries, right? 99% of people, according to the stats that he researched, and he spent a lot of time researching this. 99% of Americans die without ever fully living the purpose that they came to the earth for. So this is real important. Step number 1 is find the thing that you love to do, then do it. Success is in loving your work. And then it goes on to say, like, for example, if you're a psychiatrist, you've got to stay up with the times. You've got to go to the conventions. You've got to have the right mentor. You've got to get into the coaching, the training. So you can't just do what you love, but you've got to kind of grow with your field. Like, we're in the real estate field. We love real estate and we grow in that field. So that's number one. Number two, the second step to success, and this is page 158, is to specialize in some particular branch of work and know more about it than anyone else. Okay, specialize in some particular branch of work and know more about it than anyone else. Now, this book was written, when was this book written? In the 60s? Let me see. This book was written in 1955, and parts of it were written in 1963, okay? 1963. These are not new concepts, guys. This is the old, but it's true. What he's saying is to become a specialist, because when you specialize, you're sought out and you're relevant. People will look you up and they'll want to do business with you because you specialize. And it's the same thing that I teach you guys, is to become a celebrity. You know, you absolutely should be the local celebrity. People should know who you are. If God would only give me the permission to get out there and get back in the real estate game like I used to, I'd be tearing it up right now, because it's so much easier to do what I do on a local basis than it is an international or national basis. Like, what I do now is I'm taking my message nationally and internationally. If I was to be able to harness this and just let it loose only in Austin, it'd be so much easier for me. But I gotta follow the passion and dream that God has for me, which is to teach, train, and mentor. That's the path that I'm on. Okay, so the second step, you got that. The third step is the most important one. You must be sure, listen to this, you must be sure that the thing that you do, that you want or do, does not redound to your success only. Listen to this. Your desire must not be selfish. It must benefit humanity. The path of a complete circuit must be formed. In other words, your idea must go forth with the purpose of blessing or serving the world. Okay, so there it is. Number one, you got to love what you're doing. Number two, you got to be a specialist in what you're doing. Like people know you from all over. Like, you're the guy, you're the gal that does that. Okay, you're famous, you're known. And then number three, your goals cannot redound to you alone. They have to be altruistic, if you will. They have to be for the purpose of benefiting others. There's no way you can be a success without your life blessing and touching other people. It cannot happen, because one of the biggest reasons that you were put on the planet was to serve and bless other people. You guys know all this stuff already. And that's why I love working with y'all, because this is stuff y'all already know. But it helps to go back, and that's one of the things that I treasure from the power of your subconscious mind. I was looking for anybody else. Lucas says he's reading now The Law of Divine Compensation. Okay, I haven't read that one. Actually, last week I read two books. I read one called Go for No. Dinko recommended me that book, and I thought it was excellent. So I downloaded and actually I listen to books now. So while I'm working out this morning, I hit the gym. I was listening to another book. So I read Go for No, and I read another one called The Four Agreements, which I thought was really good. Both of those books are like 2.5 hours. So I read two books last week. I love to read a lot. A lot of what I do is those won't be the book of the month for you guys. The next book of the month is called The Secret to Permanent Prosperity. Okay. And let me see if I have, hold on one second. Let me see if I can pull it out here. Here it is. Yeah. So this is one, The Secret to Permanent Prosperity, that's going to be our book of the month for May. Okay. And this is a thin read. I call this a realtor read, right? This is one that you guys will, it's only like 106 pages or something like that, but it's The Secret to Permanent Prosperity by Mike Hernacki. Okay. Mike Hernacki is the author. And I'll post a link to it if one of you guys doesn't get to it first. This was written in 1994 by Mike Hernacki. I mean, I got to tell you guys, the secrets of the ages are in some of these older books. This is not that old, but it's got a lot of ancient wisdom in it. In fact, when Gary Keller became my mentor, this was the first book he gave me to read. Okay, and that was years ago. So that's our book of the month. Okay. And if you guys have anything you want to throw at me, just throw it up in the chat. I'll mention it. Sabu says, discover the power within you. I got that book, Sabu, and I have not read it yet. I've got it here somewhere. And I'm one of these guys that reads like 4 or 5 or 6 books at a time. I don't know if anybody else is like that in our group, but I read multiple books at a time. So I'll read like a couple of chapters. Success with Listings, Carlton. Carlton's got that one. All right, Carlton, I see you. All right, so, oh, by the way, and one of the things I like to do is just write out a bunch of stuff that we're going to talk about, because I like to just share with you guys what's going on in my life. One of the things that you guys get access to that nobody else gets is unprecedented access, like kind of like behind the scenes stuff. So later today, Josie and I will be officiating a wedding. We both are licensed to marry people in the state of Texas. So Josie actually she's the officiant, and then I say the words at the wedding. So that's going to be fun. We're going to head out to do that. That's at 6 o'clock tonight. So we'll be conducting a wedding. Just another kind of a cool little thing. We did the next book of the month. There is a piece of gold that I've given you guys, and let me see if I can. Let me just share the desktop. And let me see if I can get to it real quick here. I got to move some things around. Here we go. So if you guys go to the Mentorship Masters group and you go to files, and you'll see that there's something that I placed in here. I kind of snuck it in here back. It wasn't 2018, but I put it in right when I first joined EXP. It's called Your Wish is Your Command. Okay. Let me see if the whole series is in here. I think the whole series is here. You guys can see that on my screen. It's called Your Wish is Your Command. You know, this is an audio series that I highly recommend. I've actually started listening to it again. Kevin Trudeau put this together. And if people ask me all the time, you know, how was I able to make my first million by the time I was 29 years old? And how have I made multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses since then? Well, if you listen to the Your Wish is Your Command, it basically will unwrap the secret for you. I mean, I think it's like 12 hours of training, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this was a class that he did that people paid $10,000 to be part of. It was a retreat that he did, and now the information is just made available. It's you can actually get it on YouTube. It's on YouTube now. So I went ahead and downloaded these, and I shared them all with you. Highly, highly recommend that you go through them in order. Okay, you know, start with the first one and then go all the way through. Let's see. Let me see if I can stop. Still learning Zoom, y'all. See if I can stop sharing. Let's see. Oh, that didn't do much. Let's see. You guys can see me, but you can still see my screen, correct? Oh, hold on a minute. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, so now you guys can just see me, right? Well, now I don't see y'all. Somebody type in it, yes. Okay, Mina says yes. Type it in chat box. Cool. Okay. So I'm learning Zoom. I'm learning. You guys are making me learn new stuff. That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. What we're going to start. Oh, let me give you guys an update on. By the way, I know that some of you guys are in overwhelm. Okay, that's why I've been trying to leave some of you guys alone because I know you're in overwhelm. I mean, it's EXP. It's a lot of overwhelming stuff, right? What I tell people is. jump in, spend about 6 weeks. You'll be 6 weeks of overwhelm. Okay, it's cool. It's no problem. Anytime you start anything new, it's going to be that way. You know, you got to look at the big picture. You know, I'm here for the big picture, and I'm talking big. You know, I have a big picture in mind for the reason I'm here. So there's going to be some things whenever you're learning anything new, even the stuff I teach you, that's going to throw you into overwhelm. And you know what overwhelm is? You know why you get into overwhelm? Is because the human mind is like a sponge, okay? So you just imagine a sponge. When that sponge becomes saturated, it can no longer take in any more information. And it's like that with you guys when it comes to learning. That's why I'm not just trying to cram a bunch of teaching to you, because there comes a point where it's saturation, like you can no longer take another drop in that sponge. And so I'm kind of metering out the training, and it's okay because the stuff that I'm giving you is going to make you successful, going to help you achieve success for the rest of your life. So, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we don't have to do this in a day either. But I just want to let you kind of know my methodology, even though I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. It's okay to be in overwhelm. I mean, I've lived there before, but that's not my goal for you. I don't want to overwhelm you. But I do want to remind you of some things like, for example, the book, Triple My Listings. You guys have been asking me, you said, Uncle Knolly, I want to know how to generate tons and tons of listings. And it's always been my truth that the how is not nearly as important as the what and the why. If you got the what and the why, the how will naturally come. I can teach you how to generate 10 listings a month. Okay, but somebody else might teach you completely different, and neither one of us is going to be wrong. Okay, there's 100 ways to do this, but with this book, I wrote down 27, and this will just help you when you go into your lead generation bunker, which you should be in every single day. This is just going to help jar your memory on what kinds of things you should be doing. 27 marketing ideas for free seller leads. And the book is done, it's written, it's already printed, okay? So where's your copy, right? You guys have already submitted your address. Well, I just uploaded, I had to do some changes to it. There was some typos, and quite honestly, there probably still are some typos in here. You know what? I don't care. I need to get the thing out to you guys. So what I decided to do, I gave the printer the thumbs up yesterday, and they started printing the first batch. They're gonna mail those to the company that actually ships them out. Within the next 4 or 5 days, they'll mail them there, and then they'll ship them to you. Okay, so look for this. It's probably going to be another week, probably a couple weeks, probably another 2 weeks. So don't worry about it. You'll get it. And I just wanted to give you an update there. Another thing I wanted to mention, and Patty Lynn's going to want to pay attention to this, is our accountability partners program. You know, I didn't mention this to you at first because I didn't want to overwhelm you guys, but part of Mentorship Masters is going to be that we have accountability partners, because that's the piece that you guys are missing right now. You don't have the accountability piece where someone is actually holding you accountable. And so what you'll be doing is every single week, I'm going to talk about this for a minute because I think it's very important. Every single week, you'll be calling your accountability partner, okay? And you're only going to have, it's basically 3 outcomes, okay, right? So every one of you has a different goal. My goal for you guys is to get at least 2 pieces of production a month. And I would say 2 listings a month, okay? That would be my preference. But I don't, you know, some of you guys like working buyers, and I'm not hating on that, you know? But I want you to have, I want you to steadily be closing 2 deals a month, okay? That's my goal for you, and that's what I'm coaching and training you toward, unless you want to take it to 10 a month or 20 a month, okay? I've coached people that do 300 deals a year. So the principles are the same, but your goal is your goal. Now, whatever your goal is, so that's your numeric goal. Now, remember, we have the calculator that will show you how many appointments you need to be taking or going on in order to reach your goal. So make sure you're using our calculator that's in the members area. Now, the second piece of that is that you should be in your lead generation bunker every single week for 2 hours a day. Okay, so that's 9 to 11. Something like this would count toward lead generation because you're learning tactics. But you can't spend all the time learning. You got to be out there doing. You got to be implementing. Okay, the stuff that you're learning. So when you have an accountability partner, there's 3 questions. And so I'm going to kind of coach you guys through this right now. And we might need some more coaching around this later, and that's fine. When I call my accountability partner, the question is, and by the way, this is like one-on-one coaching. A lot of people pay $1,000 a month for one-on-one coaching, which is just nothing more than accountability that really can be done with an accountability partner. The other piece of that, what you guys are getting me for, is really consulting. Like, I'm your consultant, I'm your coach that's going to tell you what to do to become a millionaire if that's your goal. If you don't, you relax into the goal you want. You know, I'm teaching high level stuff. But as far as accountability, you got to have it. And that's, so the 3 questions are, did you, and write this down because it's very important. Did you meet, exceed, or fall short of your goal? So for example, if I'm talking to Mina, I say, and these are not long conversations, guys. You guys can get to know each other if you want, but keep the conversation, probably keep it to about 15-minute call or 20-minute call a week, okay? And it's like, hey, Mina, did you meet, exceed, or fall short of your goal? Whatever your goal is. Like Mina's goal might be, I want to take a listing next week. I want to get at least 1 listing this week, okay? Or it might be, I want to make 100 phone calls, or whatever those goals are. You know, did you meet the goal? Did you exceed the goal? Or did you fall short of the goal? Okay. Now, no matter what the answer is, there's no judgment. Okay. It's very important that you remember this, because I'm teaching you guys how to coach. By the way, some of you guys might actually end up having lucrative careers as coaches. Suits me. I mean, you only have to know more than the guy you're coaching, right? So if you're doing 20 deals a year, and you might be coaching somebody that's only doing 5 deals a year that wants to be where you are, no problem. So there's no judgment. So if Mina says, you know what, I fell short, okay? So you don't come back to the person and say, well, why didn't you? Why didn't you? There's no, because that's judgment, okay? Here's the follow-up to that. It's like, Mina, what can we specifically do, or what specific steps can we take, or what can we do so that by the time we're on the phone next week, you will have met or exceeded your goal? You know, what specific things are you going to do that will lead to you meeting or exceeding your goal next week? And that's it, okay? A lot of times, if you could be accountable to yourself, you'll succeed. But most people can't be, and that's why we get accountability partners to help with that. So that's it, guys. You know, you're gonna pick a partner within our group. Patty Lynn will be heading this up. She's learning about it for the first time herself. I can't see you guys. I don't like that I can't see you. Let me see if I can. Oh, I think it's the mode I'm in. Hold on, let me see something. Oh, here we go. Now I can see y'all again. The ones that have their sharing. Okay. I like to see when Patty Lynn shakes her head or gets confused. It's amusing to me. So that's it, guys. We're introducing accountability partners. You guys are going to have questions around that. No problem. We're here to help you with that as well. The roundtable Q&A format, I want to just throw this in there just so you guys know that one of the things that I'm going to be starting to do at the end of it, because I want to keep these to 1 hour. I know you guys have a lot of stuff to do, but I want to be here for you. So if we don't cover what you need to cover during the time that we're on, I'm going to stay after. I'll stay after class, you know? So if there's a couple of you that need to stay after class, like, hey, Knolly, I really have a question around this or that, fine. There's no problem with me. I'll stay as long as you need, okay? So we'll do that. I noticed that's something that the EXP brokers do. You know, they have their meetings and then they go to the broker room. But anybody else can kind of leave at that point. If everybody leaves, then we're done. It's no problem. So make sure you bring your questions to this thing, guys, because here's the thing. We're moving most of the communications that you guys have with me. I mean, you guys are already texting me. You know, you can hit me up and you know I'll get back with you. But I'm going to move most of the conversations that we have. Consider this like when you call me. You like that? I got Josie's picture up there. Y'all like that? 27 years and still rocking the picture. That's good, right? But the thing is, I want you guys to consider this as the emergency hotline. Okay, if you need to talk to me. You guys know I'm traveling, I'm doing stuff. All of next month we'll be in Costa Rica, okay? Doesn't mean my phone doesn't work, because my phone works anywhere in the world, okay? So if you have an emergency, we're gonna talk, okay? David Speedy had a situation. I was talking to him couple weeks ago when I was in the Bahamas. No problem, you know. Nobody knows where I'm at. I could be anywhere unless you see the back. If you see the background, there's a beach, you know, I'm somewhere else. But consider this the emergency line. You can always text me here, no problem. I'll get back to you. But if you have a question that is regarding something that we could bring to the weekly meetup, let's just table it for that, because what I want you guys to benefit from each other's questions. You guys are asking some phenomenal questions, and I'm going to get to those in about 2 minutes, actually, that I think will benefit everyone. The other thing that I want to start doing is I want to start time-stamping these videos. And I'm going to teach Patty Lynn how to do that. It's super duper simple. YouTube is like ultra simple. Like all you have to do is put the time, and then there's a little video on it. It's real simple, and it'll create a timestamp. So what we'll have is like, because you guys know I talk about all kinds of stuff on these, and so this way you'll be able to click right to the thing that you want to know about, so that when we archive these, we can keep them for the Q&A stuff. Because a lot of you guys are asking the same questions. It's almost like phenomenal to see it on my end. I love it. Sabu says, my 2 puppies have been my accountability team. They're hungry. Oh, I like it. Yeah, I like that. Hey, I tell you, there's nothing like an animal, because a lot of animals they remind you of the heart of God. You know, they have a beautiful spirit to them. Judy Welch says, having an accountability partner is the best way to grow. No doubt about it. When are we going to start the accountability partner? We're going to start it right away. So this week is good. We just have to kind of figure out the nuances around it. You guys pick the partner you want. I don't really have a system for that. You know, Patty Lynn might help come up with something, or you guys might have a great idea around it. Sabu says, deja vu. I wrote it down before. Okay, the 3 questions. Okay, thanks Patty Lynn for putting the 3 questions out there. Did you meet, exceed, or fall short? What specific steps are you going to do? And then the other person asked the other person the same questions, okay? And then some questions will come up during that conversation that you guys have with each other. Because like some of the reason why you guys aren't succeeding the way you want to is just because of skills, or some of it's just, you know, you have a low level of competence. There's a lot of things, but you write those down and then you bring them to our meetup, or you can post them to the Facebook group if you want to do it that way as well. So are there any questions before I get into the questions? If you guys have a question, you can unmute yourself and speak to me directly, or you can type your question in the chat box. Either way is good. I'm going to start with a couple of questions that I brought that have been brought from our members. This one's from Peterson. Now, Peterson is using, for sale by owner, an expired provider called My Plus Leads. I haven't used them before, so I'm not super familiar with them. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to, using KV Core. By the way, KV Core is a beast, okay? And it takes a little while to tame that beast. I spent 6 hours, at least 5.5 hours at a Starbucks when I first learned KV Core, because I knew I needed to learn the fundamentals of KV Core. So I just went to Starbucks, parked my little butt down there, didn't want to do it because I don't like learning new things like that, especially things that are not sexy. Like that's not really sexy, but guess what? A lot of people are generating a lot of business with KV Core. So I parked myself down and I learned the basics of it. And that's what I recommend. I mean, just it takes time, guys. It takes time to make money. You want to make $1 million? It takes time to do that, you know, but now I can make it quick, a lot quicker than it used to. But at first it's going to take the time, just like driving a car, just like tying your shoes. It takes time at the beginning and eventually it happens like that. But Sabu, what happened is, so with KV Core, when you're using different systems, they either have an API that will plug into KV Core to allow those leads to import directly into KV Core, or you have to manually import them, or you have to import them one by one, okay, is a third solution. Or you can use, what is that called? Zapier, okay? You can zap them in, okay, Zapier. And Zapier, with Zapier, you can create what they call zaps that are really like, in the old days, we would call them, I forget what we used to call these, but we used to create these all the time in the old days for the, like the DOS computers. Now I'm really dating myself. You guys know back when we were using like the TRS-80 or the, I don't know if any of y'all ever used those, but we used to create these scripts that would do certain things. It would go out, do this, and that, and it would save us time. And so that's all Zapier is. It's like a script building engine, and you could build like almost any configuration. So the reason I'm bringing all that up is he's having a problem around that. So what I suggested he do, since I don't know the answer to it, is maybe go into one of the Facebook groups that is specifically for KV Core. I'm thinking there probably are some out there. I haven't looked for one, but and keep in mind, I'm not using KV Core the way you guys are, because I'm more on the recruiting side of it, where you guys are more on the production side. So if anybody has any solutions around that, be sure to post them. Don't post them here because I'm not even sure if Speedy's on this call, but post them to our Facebook group. Or if any of you can help him with that, David Speedy has some questions around that. Now, speaking of KV Core, my job, can anybody tell me what my job, like what my #1 role is if you had to put it in one word? Go ahead and type it in the chat box. What would you say my #1 role is? Teacher, leader, who else? Sabu says leader. Lucas says teacher. We have a few more. What would you say if you had to think about it? To inspire us to our highest and best? Yeah, that's true. Mentor, that's true. All those are true. That's Judy Welch says mentor. Dinko says master. I look at you guys as the masters because that's what Jesus did. He came down and he taught so that they could go teach, Spirit guide, David Speedy says, yeah, so all those are true. Here's how I define my role. I thank you guys for participating in that. We got some good ones, and all those are true. But if I was to deduce what I do down to one thing, it would be this: servant. That's what I'm here to do. And whenever I coach or mentor or I teach corporations encouragement. Carlton says encouragement. Yeah, for sure. I teach them that their job, if you're a leader, your job is to serve. So what a leader does is he goes out and sees what people need and he goes and gets it for them. Okay, that's my job. Just like in sales, you find out what people need and you make it easier for them to get it. So my job, for example, is like KV Core. If we have a lot of issues around KV Core, why wouldn't we hire somebody at Mentorship Masters to help us with KV Core? I mean, I'm open to do it if we need it. I don't want to do it if we don't need it, and I don't want someone doing something that you guys should be learning. Okay, but if it comes to the point where it's just like we're not going to learn it, we don't like it, it's crap, and we don't want to learn it, then Uncle Knolly has to say, you know what, my people need this, so I'm going to hire someone, or I'm going to train someone to do it, or we'll find somebody that knows KV Core and just pay them to do it for you. Okay, that's always a solution, guys. So it's not maybe the first solution, but just know that you don't ever have to stay stuck in anything. Okay, I've got 2 people on my staff right now that have computer science degrees. Okay, and they could learn KV Core in probably a week, and then but they're not in the real estate industry. That's the problem. They do other stuff for me. But we could do that if it comes down to it. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Patty Lynn, keep an eye on that for me as well. And that's about being creative. So creating solutions for you guys. Okay, so the next one is Dinko was asking about getting vendors to cover the marketing costs. Okay, so and Dinko, I wasn't sure if you were talking about for your farming, to cover the marketing costs of your farming, or for something else. So just put in the chat box exactly what you're talking about to cover the marketing costs, and then I'll touch on that. While Dinko's doing that, let me go to another. Let me mention another one that came up this week, and that was with Mina. Okay. Now, Mina got a referral, a good referral from my sponsor in San Antonio, and it's a divorce situation. Okay. It's not amicable. The husband and wife are not speaking to each other, and they don't even like the sound of each other's voice. Okay. So the thing was, how can we go ahead? Because here's what the wife wanted to do. The wife has already gone through all the classes to get her real estate license. Okay. She doesn't have it yet, but she has another couple of people in mind that she wants to hire to list the home. The husband wants to hire Mina, right, to list the home, because that's who my sponsor said, hey, this is who you want to go with. So how do you handle a situation like that? How do you get the listing when you're up against other agents, or when it's a husband and wife that is not amicable, not speaking to each other, and you need that, you want that listing, you know? So what I told Mina was, and I was just about to hop on a plane when we worked this out, was I've done hundreds and hundreds of divorce sales, okay? So I said, let me go ahead and craft the letter as if I'm taking the listing, because I mean, I look at all you guys as part of my, you know, you're on my team. You're not paying me a team fee, right? But we're all part of the same team. So why not leverage my experience? So I told her, I said, look, I've done hundreds and hundreds, and I know how to articulate a letter, how to type it up in such a way where when they read it, they're going to want to list with us, period. Okay. So when I was on the plane, I typed up the letter, email, okay, sent it to Mina. She copy pasted it, put her signature on it. You know, coming from me, she said, hey, this is from my broker. Sent it to the wife, and we got the listing. Okay, Mina got the listing. So there's a lot of stuff that you guys can be doing like that to leverage me. Another thing that Lucas did, because Lucas lives in the Austin area, and really anybody in Texas or really anywhere can do this. He called me up. He was like, hey, Knolly, I want to get into probate. So I taught him, you know, how to get in the probate game. But then he was like, yeah, but if I had the Knolly team, I felt like they would listen to me more if I was able to use the Knolly team logo. I don't care. I mean, I got the logo, why not? So he started using the Knolly team logo, started opening doors for him, right? So there's a lot of things that we can do, guys. You know, Jesus says for us to be shrewd, you know, like the serpent, but innocent as doves, okay? So why not? I mean, we put on the back of our business card, we sold over 1,000 houses. And you guys are leveraging. Remember, don't try to do this on your own, guys. You got me here to help you. Okay, so Dinko says, marketing to our farm, postcards, and of course the book, like Success with Listings. How do we get the vendors on the back and all that? Okay, so let me finish what he said. And all that, I know you were saying that you have a strategy and forms to do it. Okay, yeah, so for the let me show you, Dinko. Let's see if I have one here. Let me see, hold on one second. Okay, so this is an example of what Dinko's talking about, is like the book that I wrote, Consider It Sold. Hey, you guys know I just finished another book. Is this crazy or what? A week before last, I finished writing another book. So he's asking about the back. So on the back of it is a sponsor directory where your sponsors basically pay for the entire cost. And Dinko, if you go to successwithlistings.com/support, okay, let me type that in here. Unless, let me see, with listings.com/support. That'll take you directly to the page where I have videos that explain how to generate your sponsors. The other thing that I have, guys, is, okay, I put the link there. The other thing I have is when you go there, you're going to be able to download a complete packet with the vendor enrollment form. We've got all the scripts to use to get your vendors in place. It's just copy paste the script, you email it to them. If you're trying to get I recommend this is Randy Elgin's book. He's got a contractor, HVAC, home inspector, insurance, pest inspector, or pest control, or pest inspection, and security service. And then he's got a lender right here. So each of these guys pays you $100 a piece, and then this guy right here pays you $300. So you got $900 a year. It's an annual fee that they pay you, and then that helps you to print your books, because the book printing is about $3 per book. So that gets you 25 books a month at no cost to you. Okay. So I've got all the forms and everything to do that at that link. Now, as far as your farm is concerned, all you're going to do, if you're, let's say you're farming, and by the way, I teach this in Success with Listings, how to get your sponsors. Let me look and see exactly where it is so you guys know. Because none of the techniques that I teach you guys should cost you any money, okay? None of the techniques that I teach you on how to get listings should cost you any money out of pocket. There's 27 techniques that I teach, okay, 27 of them, and none of those should cost you a dime. Can you guys still, you can still see, yeah, you can still see. All right, let me show you where that is. It's gonna be in the chapter called Geographic Farming, chapter 8, which begins on, this is in Success with Listings, by the way. It begins on page 160, and 166 is where I talk about how you're gonna get your sponsors, okay? But just to give you the brief overview, let's say, for example, you're using Every Door Direct Mail. It's about 20 cents per house. It's about 19 point something cents or so, but it's 20 cents a house. Let's say you have 1,000 houses. Okay, that's $200. And for 1,000 postcards, it's gonna cost you about 20 bucks. Okay, let's kick it up to 50 with shipping and everything. I use GotPrint, GOTPRINT.com, GotPrint.com to print everything, just about everything you've seen me print except my books. I use GotPrint.com. So let's say it's 250 bucks to get that 1,000, to mail to 1,000 houses. Now you've got a postcard that's a jumbo size. It might be an 8.5 by 11 or 5 by 7, a big one. This is a 6 by 9. And then all you're gonna do is your message on the front, and then on the back, you're just gonna make it divided into 4 slots, okay, for sponsors. And that can be, what I would do if I was doing farming, I would do like lawn service. I would do a house cleaner, carpet cleaner. I would do maybe a handyman. Okay, that's all the 4 you need. I charge each one of them $75. Okay, and you just tell them, hey, I mail to 1,000 homes a month. Would you like to piggyback with me and be my preferred vendor on that mailing? And for $75 to 1,000 houses, that's cheap. So, because if they get one job, like if a painter gets one job, it's gonna pay, 75 bucks is nothing, right? For 1,000 houses. And by the way, when you're farming, you're already picking neighborhoods like the places you wanna live. It costs the same amount to farm to the hood or to the good, right? So why not farm to the better areas, right? So that's the way you're gonna get all your farming materials paid at no cost whatsoever, okay? So, but I get into more depth of that. And by the way, in Triple My Listings, I have a chapter where I talk about that as well. You don't have the book yet, but when you do, if those of you listening to the video of this, and the book's already out, it's idea number 6. Okay, so let me see what we got for questions here. Sabu says, I need to edit my book and get new sponsors for the next one. And having a challenge with the edit. If you're having a challenge with the edit, it's in Microsoft Word, okay? So if you're really seriously having a challenge with the editing, go to a college student in your town. Say, hey, I'll give you 50 bucks to help me with this. It's super easy to edit. The new version of it, those of you that already have it, by the way, Sabu has it because he paid 1,000 bucks and he got it, okay? Now that you're in Mentorship Masters, you get everything that I have for free. You don't pay for anything, but there's some qualifications. Like for example, I'm not just gonna give you my Cadillac system, my Cadillac package, until you produce. So you have to close at least one deal. After you close, those of you that have already closed your first deal are entitled to my this success kit, which is like 1,000 bucks, okay? So you just close one deal, it's yours. Sabu already bought it. He was early to the game. So if you're having a challenge with it though, it's in Microsoft Word. We've got a lot of videos that show you how to do the editing. Super duper simple, guys. But if you have a challenge with Microsoft Word, just hire some college student. A 15, 16-year-old in your neighborhood could do it. I guarantee you, because they're into all that stuff. We do have a hotline too that you can call for support. They can help you. But I always recommend, what I tell people is, By the way, the new version of it, Sabu, I don't know when you got yours, but the newer version that came out within the last 2 years requires no editing, zero editing. Like all the guts, a lot of people don't do anything with it because it's completely vanilla. So now if you want to edit it and make it yours, more power to you. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But what I tell people, if they want to edit it, print the entire thing out. You know, there's a PDF of it. You print it out on paper. You go through it manually on papers, 80 pages, and make your edits. And then you hand that to a college student and say, hey, I'll give you $50 to make these changes. And then they'll give it back to you done. And that's how you leverage that. It makes it super easy. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Sabu says, let me see. Dinko was saying we use that for the postcards. Yeah, for the postcards, anything that you're doing that you're spending money on, let me know about it and I'll show you how to get it for free, okay? I don't even my staff doesn't cost me money because I charge $5.95. Patty Lynn knows this. On every listing I take, I charge $5.95. I just took 2 listings this week. I charge $5.95 per listing, okay? As an admin fee, and that covers the cost of my admin people, my admin staff. I have 4 people, by the way, that work on my admin team. Does anyone have some success stories in getting vendor sponsors? Go to successwithlistings.com/case studies, case-studies. You'll see a bunch of people on there that have gotten their sponsors. You'll see videos and a bunch of case studies of people. I had one guy, I was in a class and the guy I was teaching the class up front. And I was talking to him all about, hey, you can get your complete success, you know, this consider it sold, whatever. This guy was so excited. He jumped up in the middle of the class, in the middle of the presentation, and he stormed out of the room. I was like, man, this guy must not have liked what I was saying. Did I offend him? What did I say? He came back 15 minutes later. 15 minutes later. He said, Knolly, I already got all my sponsors, sign me up, okay? And he already got all his money. You know? He just went and made 15 minutes worth of phone calls and got his people. You know, not everybody will have it that easy, but I teach you the scripts of how to do it. It's super easy. See. Okay, Mina says, I asked my preferred lender, inspection company, so far they agreed. I just need a few more. It's advertising for them, absolutely. So Mina's already got several people on board. By the way, Mina picked up, using KV Core, I gotta throw this out there, Mina picked up six, okay, listing leads using KV Core, okay, and Facebook. So y'all gotta ask her how she did that. Now, getting a lead and converting a lead is 2 different conversations. So she's having a little issues converting them, and I'm helping her with that. But she's on fire with that. So yeah, the lenders. Patty Lynn says, yeah, they have the lenders and they have money to spend. I mean, think about it. A painter. I go to a painter and I say, you get to piggyback with me on every listing appointment I go on for $99. I mean, that's a no-brainer. And what I do is I send it out to 3 painters, 3, and I CC every single one of them on the same email. And I say, hey guys, this is what I'm gonna do. This is the book. I'm looking for a painter. The first one that responds, here's the order form, fill it out, send it back. We take Visa, MasterCard. Every one of you guys should be able to take Visa, MasterCard. All you gotta do is get a Square account, it's free. We take Visa, MasterCard. The first one that sends it back gets it, okay? So I put a little competition into it as well. I like doing that. Lenders in my area have told me there are rules to keep them from advertising the book. Absolutely not true, Sabu. They're lying to you if they're telling you that. It's absolutely untrue. I've sold the book in 50 states. What they're talking about is RESPA, and this has nothing to do with RESPA. In fact, I have on the FAQs, if you go to the support site, under the FAQs, I talk about that question because some people bring up RESPA. This is advertising. It has nothing to do with RESPA. It's not them showing favoritism to you. RESPA does not prevent any lender from advertising, okay? So RESPA is like them doing something for you, like an unfair, sort of like a little unfair kind of trade type deal. That's not what this is. You're not telling them that you're only going to use them if they advertise. You're just selling an advertising spot, and that is not a RESPA violation. There's been no attorney. I got to tell you guys, thousands of people have adopted the system. There has never been one attorney that has ever been able to come to me and say that anything is violated in any state. So what they're telling you is not true. If they think it's true, have them, they can either talk to me or they could send me in writing where they think it's not true, or have their attorney call me. Okay, so you've heard arguments about the admin fees. What's your rebuttal? Well, if you're providing the same service, we talked about this on the last call, Sabu. I don't think you were on that call, so I recommend you go back and listen to it. But on the admin fees, I charge $5.95. I've done that since the very first listing I took in the business. Okay, and my mentor taught me how to do it. Now, if you're providing the same service as every real estate agent in town, you shouldn't be charging an admin fee. You should be ashamed to charge one. But if Knolly Williams is coming to your house, I'm charging an admin fee, right? It's just like this. And you guys, every one of you say, well, I'm not Knolly Williams. Well, neither was I until I got started. I charged that admin fee from my very first listing. So if I go to a theater, there's a theater in town called Gold Theaters, okay? If you go there, you're gonna get a blanket. You're gonna get, you can get a cold beer if you're into that. You're gonna get a pillow. You're gonna get food if you want it. Now, is the movie gonna cost the same if I watch it at Gold Theater in a lounger with a blanket and pillow as it does at the discount theater? No, it's not gonna be the same cost. It's the same movie, but it's not the same cost. So the level of service that you provide dictates what you charge. So when I go to my clients, they see, because of the way I put my presentation together, they see that the level of service is beyond anything that they even thought they were getting. And I tell them, I say, hey, Sabu, now I've got a person, I have an account manager that's gonna personally handle your account from the time that we go under contract all the way through closing. And even before that, we're gonna handle some things. So you're not just getting me, you're getting two people. It's not gonna cost you double, okay? It's almost like two for the price of one. It's only gonna cost an additional $5.95 to get a whole additional person. And here's the thing, Sabu, the reason why you want that is because you wanna make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. You wanna make sure that you get top dollar in the least amount of time, right? Yeah, and the way that I do that for you, Sabu, is I make sure that I have somebody, because I might be at another appointment. We don't want anything to fall through the cracks. And this is how we're gonna jump on when the offers come in, when things happen, we're gonna be on it, because you're gonna have two people working your situation, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, and by the way, the $5.95, there's no money up front. You're only gonna pay me if I'm successful, okay? So you're not gonna pay me a dime until I succeed for you. Does that make sense, Sabu? Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, well, let's do the right thing. Let's go ahead and sign the paperwork so I can get you to success. Now, by the way, when they see my pre-listing package, they see my book, they've already seen my my video presentation. Some of you guys have seen it and told me that it's the best one you've ever seen in the business. It should be. Yours should be better than mine, right? So when you see all that, you expect that you're going to pay more. I mean, it's common sense, like duh. So if you're coming across like all agents are created equal, then you haven't been using the stuff that I teach. Because when I'm done with them, they know that all agents are not created equal. I used to charge 7% on every single listing and would get it 100% of the time. The reason I stopped charging 7% was because inevitably what would happen is, even though they had the greatest experience, I got their home sold, we got everything done, they would have a conversation afterward with a family member and like, hey, what? And they would mention that it was 7%. And the people can't get it through the idea that 7% is cool. So the family members, not knowing what I brought to the table, would be like, man, I can't believe you charged 7%, this and that, whatever. So I felt like I just didn't want to I had no problem getting it, but just on the back end, I felt like, you know what, I'll do 6%, but I'm not going to charge what everybody else charges. I'm just not, okay? So if you have a problem with that, it's because you're not creating value. I've got a coach right now that I pulled him up and I checked with my wife first, okay? Got to do that first. And I said, I want to coach with you for 1 year. He said, it's $30,000. I said, okay, 30,000. So that's $2,500 a month. He said, no, I charge $30,000 up front, 30,000, okay? And I said, okay, cool, 30,000, okay? So I filled out the application, hired him as my coach. Now I could have had a guy for 10,000 a year, okay? But I wanted, a person that I wanted the $30,000 guy. And there's other people out there that would do it a lot cheaper than me, but they're not me. And they're not going to get the results I get, right? So there's a lot of arguments around that. If you guys are having issues with your fees, which I never have, your confidence is low. You know, you come in there, like when I go to a dentist, I'm not, I mean, if he's good, he's good. You know, I'm not trying to debate over fees and stuff like that. And $595 is not, the admin fee is paid at closing. Sabu's asking that. I don't get any fees up front because that will create some questions. In Texas, do we have to have the IABS form in the book? No, you don't have to have the, I don't think you, I don't have it in my book, the IABS form. I think they take that too far, by the way, but that's a Texas question, Dinko. And I don't have it in my book, never have. And nobody's ever questioned me about it. Okay, so guys, we're almost at time. I'm gonna throw one other thing out there. And this is, we might throw this out, Dinko, for after class, because I told Dinko to come to before we get to that, Dinko, hopefully Dinko can stay on with me. And we'll have a little after class time. We won't spend too much time on it, but I wanted to show you guys this. This is Lucas. Lucas sent me this. Check this out. This is from Lucas Colors. And this is the seller's guide, his pre-listing packet, okay? Now, I coach you guys that when you do your pre-listing packet, you need to have a yellow envelope. This is what it looks like. And what should be showing through the envelope is what we call the cover page. This is all in my book. All the stuff is in my book. I get these yellow envelopes at Uline, uline.com. David Speedy ordered 1,000 of them, or 500, I think, because they come 500 to a box. So I had Lucas contact David to get some of his stock, to buy some from him or whatever. So so I have not unveiled this yet. So I promised Lucas I would unveil it at some point. He didn't know I was going to do it here on the call. But this is great. So this is what, the reason why you do it in a yellow envelope, guys, is because it's got to be gaudy. I mean, this is gaudy. This looks like ugly, right? Like, not ugly, but you know, ugly pretty is what it looks like. But it gets their attention, right? And what I always do, we drop this off. We have this dropped off on their front porch the day before we go on the listing appointment, okay? I sat down at lunch with a friend of mine that I'm trying to get over here to EXP, and he was on his way to an $8 million listing, $8 million listing. And he's with Sotheby's right now. And they do something where they do like a book or something that they drop off the day before, and it's like $100. It costs about $100 for this package, but it's an $8 million listing. You know what percentage of the listings that he goes on that he gets at full commission? You know, I say full commission, 6%, 98% full commission on an $8 million listing. Some of you guys will be like, I'll take it for 2%. He doesn't have to, because he's got a value prop that when he's a power player, just like I am, and just like every one of you are. Every one of you are power players. You may just not know it yet, right? And I was a power player when I got my first listing, and I'm still one. Okay, so this is good, Lucas. I like this. I would do a shipping label. I would have a shipping label here with like a nice logo and stuff on it. Just so it's not all hand, printed. I don't mind handwriting the person's name there, but I would do a shipping label just to give it a little bit better look. But you can see, even if you mail this in the mail, it's going to get somebody's attention. It's going to stick out from the other stuff that they got in the mail. And I'm going to open this. We're going to have the unveiling. First time I'm seeing it. And it comes out just like that. Yep, he's got this on like a little bit of kind of slick paper. He cheated and put the Knolly team on the bottom. Hey, why not use all the leverage you can get? I guarantee you, like, here's an example, and I don't know the rules at EXP around this. Patty Lynn can find out about this for us. But like Ben Kinney, I heard him last week at the conference. He has a team in Austin, Texas. He doesn't live in Austin. He has a team in like 20-some cities. He's got teams, Ben Kinney. And when people hear the Ben Kinney team, I mean, what would that do for your referrals? If you all of a sudden said, hey, I got the Knolly team over here in Boise, Idaho. well, you know, I know a lot of real estate agents, and I know they'd be shooting referrals to you. I don't know it's basically, we're just using the name, guys. It's not like you're really on the team. But with Lucas, hey, we're making it happen for him. So he's got his, that's the cover letter, okay? Then he's using my stuff. Some of you guys have questions around how do I use, if I haven't done a lot of business like you have, Knolly, how do I talk myself up? Well, any of you guys can put together a marketing plan and just agree to do all the stuff that I do in my marketing plan. I've got a thing that lists all the resources. Now, if you don't have, I've got testimonials on the back of mine, I just put like 7 of them. But if you don't have any testimonials, let's say you've never done a deal before, you don't have any testimonials, just have friends and family write you generic testimonials around your character, okay? Write this down, around your character. Not false testimonials, guys, genuine testimonials. Like I could say something like this. Patty Lynn is a wonderful person. I have known Patty Lynn for over a decade, and I've always found her to be conscientious and hardworking. You should trust Patty Lynn with the sale of your house. I didn't say anything about Patty Lynn selling my house. I didn't say anything. I love Patty Lynn. She's a friend of mine, and that's all I said, right? And that could be a testimonial. It's like when people come and they ask you for a letter of reference, for example. Sometimes that's what you got to work with. Now, if you have any past employees or you've been in the military, you work with people in the military, or you've been, for example, you worked a job, okay, before, a regular job, we call it. Why not go to some of your coworkers and say, hey, could you write a couple of sentences about your experience working with me? And they'll do that. They'll say, hey, I worked with Mina for 6 years. I found her to be super honest and ethical. I've loved working with Mina. Didn't say you were selling real estate. Just said, I love working with Mina. Nothing wrong with that. You use that as a testimonial. And what I like to do even better than that, guys, is I will call a person, because a lot of people are just lazy. So I'll call them up. I say, hey, Patty Lynn, when we work together, what'd you think of it? And I just let her talk while I'm taking notes. And then I'll take notes, and I'll deduce it to 3 sentences. And I'll say, Patty Lynn, so what I hear you saying is that I was competent in my job. I did a great job for you. I did this, I did that. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, great. Can I quote you on that? Yeah, you can quote me. And then I got my testimonial. I write it myself. Why wait for them, right? So if you get their permission, it's still from them, isn't it? I mean, that's the way Gary Keller wrote the foreword of my first book. He didn't want to sit down and write it. So I just talked to him about all the stuff that he liked about me, and then I wrote it. And then he blessed it. He was like, yeah, Knolly, that's good. Signed off on it, you know? Special report, top 4 reasons homes don't sell. I like to put these 2 pages back in, but you don't have to. He's got them individual pages, and that's fine too. Top 10 reasons a lot of you guys have a problem with this one. Top 10 reasons you should ask, or top 10 questions you should ask any agent before you list your home. One of these calls, I'll probably sit down with one of you guys and go through this just to help you. Top 10 reasons you should trust us. And then he's got the homework packet in here as well. He's got that front and back. This packet, I don't recommend front and back because I typically like them to scan this in and send it back to me. Let me see if I have a copy of mine so you guys can see what mine looks like. I have one right here. And I know we're over, guys. We're going to conclude in just a minute. This is how mine looks. I like to have it on yellow paper, okay? And this is all part of the packet. This is part of my pre-listing packet that you guys already have access to. I want to know all about their home's upgrades. I want to know, I want to know the home features they really enjoy, the type of person they think would love their home. How would they describe their home to a buyer? And what features did you like most about the neighborhood? Guess what? They fill this out. I write up the property description from it, and I've got a stellar description that they love because it's what they wrote, you know. And then I do the upgrades. I have them write down every single thing they can think of, interior, exterior, and then the property information sheet. I have them fill it out. You think I'm going to walk around? If you're doing 100 listings a year, like I've done for 10 years in a row, you think I'm going to walk around 100 houses and doing a checklist? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to hire somebody to do it. The homeowner has lived there 9 years. They can spend 20 minutes doing this. So I just explain to the homeowner, I say, hey, Mr. Homeowner, you know, I've been here for 1 hour. You've lived here 9 years. Now, it used to be that I would fill this out myself. But what I found inevitably is that I would miss stuff. Don't try to miss it, but sometimes I would miss it. Why? Because I've only been here an hour. And even if I walk back and forth, I'm going to miss stuff. So what I found to get the most money possible is that when the homeowner fills it out, it's always accurate. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, great. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this for you as homework. You know, now that we got your listing signed, I'm going to leave this as homework for you to fill out. I'm going to need it within about 24, 48 hours. Would that be okay with you? Yeah, no, that's great. So what I just did was I saved myself 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, times that by 100. What did I save myself? Okay, 50 hours. And I could use 50 hours. I know you guys could as well. You know, that's a nice vacation. So the things that I do and teach are at high level, guys, high volume. I teach high volume business, and you can take it to whatever volume you want. My mind can't think beyond high volume. It's just the way it works. So that's it. That's our call for today. I think hopefully this has been value for you guys. Let me see if there's any closing things that you guys are telling me. Yeah, you need to have the name registered with eXp Realty. In Texas, you have to have your team name registered with the Texas Real Estate Commission, but every state is a little different. Yeah, we have to make sure that with eXp in Texas, it's safe. Sheila is adamant about the state meeting about misrepresentation. Yeah, that's a good point. So and here's what my broker used to teach me. I used to love my RE/MAX broker, y'all. I still love him, Mark Minshew. He produced some of the top Keller Williams agents in the world. They started with him, they jumped to Keller Williams, but he was a real smart guy, still is. He would always tell me, Knolly, there's always a legal way to do it. So it doesn't matter what you want to do, just tell me what it is and let's find the legal way to do it. Okay, there's always a legal way, guys. Even if you want to do property management, which eXp does not allow, there is a legal way to do it. There is a legal way to do property management at eXp. So I'm always about trying to find those ways. Thank you guys so much. You guys are already thanking me. Those of you that need to leave, I completely understand. I'm going to spend a little time going over a question that Dinko had. And then if any of you, others of you have questions, you can stay after class. That's after class. That's for the pink slip. You know, Dinko knows about them pink slips, boy. At least I know about them. You know, after class stuff. Okay, Joe says, thanks, Knolly. Sabu says, I'm glad I made it. Glad you guys will make. Thank you, Mentorship Masters. Carlton, bless you guys. See you guys later, and let's continue with after class stuff. Okay. And even my after class, guys, I'm not gonna try to go too long with it if I can avoid it. So Dinko wants to know, this is really important question. And Dinko, if you want to, you can unmute yourself or chat with me about this if you want to. And I can kind of coach you around this because I know that this is going to be very helpful to our other members. Even if it's not helpful now, it'll be helpful for them. Dinko, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, brother?
Oh, not much. You?
Dinko, how do I pronounce your last name?
Kasarovich.
Kasarovich.
Yep. That was actually really good, man.
Kasarovich. Yeah. I'm not too bad with accents.
Yeah. Some people will say Kazarov, and I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Well, you guys see, you should see how they pronounce my name when they don't know what it is with that silent K. Okay. So Dinko, you were asking about, and here's what I wrote down, and we can kind of elaborate on. We can spend some time on this. So it's what do you do? And by the way, I wasn't putting you off, Dinko, because I really did want to talk to you about this because it's exciting to talk about this stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to record it and then we're going to timestamp it. So if this question ever comes up again, they'll be able to come back to this video.
Okay.
So you were asking, what do you do when you can't go on an appointment physically? Like a lot of times I'll be, like, for example, when I was in the Bahamas, I had someone want to list their house. They called me up and I wasn't there. So what do you do? How can you ascertain the condition of the property, which is kind of a second question. Like if you can't physically see the property, how do you know how to value it? Like what condition it's in, all that.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's going to be a pretty big issue. Because moving from Utah to Texas, all my clients, past clients, and everybody is in Utah. So I don't want to lose all that business because that's the easy business, right?
Yeah, and you still have a license there.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is, and even if you guys, even if you don't have a license in another state, but you like going on vacations like I do, I teach you guys to take 4 or 5 vacations a year. You might not be there yet. I mean, what you do is you plan out your fun time for the year and you work in between. You may not be there yet, but at some point you're going to want to be able to go. And how do you do this without physically being there? So let's talk around that. So there's numerous ways to do it. First off, though, Dinko, I want you to realize that homes do not have to be seen to be sold.
Exactly.
Okay. And a lot of people do not understand this concept. When I talk to them, they're like, well, wait a minute, what? They overvalue their contribution to the equation. Like so homes don't have to be seen to be sold. So there's a couple ways to do this. The first way is that you would partner with someone that's your man on the ground. Okay. I did this for years. So in about 2007, I believe it was, 2006, I effectively went on my last listing appointment. And I remember it was real funny because I had listed hundreds of houses up to that point. And I distinctly remember a voice in the back of my head. It was like I graduated, and it was so weird. And it was like, this is the last time you're going to go on a listing appointment. Now, it wasn't truthfully the last time, but it was the last time for years and years and years. And so I partnered with a gal, her name's Susan. And Susan is, white, Caucasian, whatever you want to say it. And I'm the black cowboy, right? So we made a great team. And she would show up to the listing and she would get the same results that I got. So that means that about 90% of the time people would list with it, with her. It was the Knolly team. I paid her 30%, okay? And all she was doing, Dinko, was she was doing a sales presentation and bringing back the listing. I did all the marketing, okay? But I did it like I just worked from home. I did all the marketing around every listing, all the stuff that I promised people I'll do. And so the funny thing, and the funny thing is I never even talked to the sellers. Like I never did the initial phone consultation. All I did was generate leads. I sent them to Susan. Susan would call them. Susan would close them. Susan would list them, throw them back over. And then our team, because we had Barbara was our admin person. She would take it all the way to the pay window. And that's the system we used for years. I remember one time, I knew it was working because nobody ever escalated to me. That's how you know your team is working. When you start getting escalations, like people, hey, I want to talk to Dinko. Now, I really want to talk to Dinko. Then you know you got a problem.
Yeah.
Nobody was ever asking to talk to Knolly. It's like I was completely irrelevant. And I was like, crap. I actually did a video. You can go out and watch it on YouTube. And I don't know if did you see the video where I interviewed a guy that I sold his house and never met him before?
I think I watched something. I remember you saying that you were on an airplane or something. He said,
yeah, I was on the airplane. I was on the airplane. He was like, are you Knolly Williams? I was like, yeah. He said, you sold my house. Well, the guy had paid me like $12,000 commission. I never met him, I had never even talked to him. He thought he had talked to me before, but he never did. Because I knew for sure there was a period of time where 300 listings in a row, I never spoke to the seller ever. Not even at close. I didn't go to closing or anything. I was 7th level. That's how I know this stuff works. So what I did, and I'm going to backtrack. First, I'm trying to build a belief in you that it can be done, and then I'm going to say, okay, how did I do it? So one way to do it is to partner with somebody on the ground. I did it at 30/70. It was a reverse, like if you had a buyer agent, you did 50/50. I don't do it that way because I'm generating the lead. The one that brings the leads is king. Okay.
Yeah.
The king gets the lion's share, but we did such a volume that it didn't matter. I would say that it's easier to partner with a buyer specialist when you do this, because now let me back up. Let me give you
that makes sense.
Number one is you partner with someone, but you got to have enough volume for that person. We're doing 100 deals a year. 30% was pretty good for that person. You know what I'm saying? And all they're doing is a listing presentation. That's it. It's 1 hour of work. You got the confidence, you go in and get the listing. Okay. And then the other thing they would do is negotiate repairs. Like when they would negotiate offers, negotiate repairs. That's it. That's all she did. My team handled everything else. So I had a one guy that would do the front end, like the signs, the lock boxes, the photographs, order the photos, do all that stuff. Once it went under contract, I had my contract to close person. Okay. So I had 2 admins my listing, person, and me. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is, and that's where you're not really involved at all. You're just generating leads. That's it. So I teach a 46-step system. You're only doing step 1 with that system, which is generate the lead. You're doing none of the other stuff. And I would. It was funny because my team, I would have at one time when we were starting to do short sales. I was teaching a class, and I was talking to him, and I was telling the story about how I worked about 3 or 4 hours a week.
Yeah,
that was my story. And my guy, who was my operations manager, Hollis, he just started laughing. I mean, he just disrupted the whole class. I was like, dude, what's up, man? He was like, you don't work no 3 hours a week. That was his rebuttal to it.
Yeah,
which is true. I probably didn't work that much, and making really good money. Okay. So the other thing is, so the second way is where you actually are involved. So in that way, you actually call the seller, you talk to them on the phone, you build the rapport, and they like you. They want to list with you. And once you get them to that point, like Dinko, you're really good over the phone because I've talked to you. I know you're good over the phone. If you can't close people over the phone, then we could do some classes where we work on that, because you should be able to close them as effectively over the phone as you do in person. So you and all it is, Dinko, is getting them to know, like, and trust you, and getting them to understand and believe that the services that you provide are extraordinary. They're like beyond anyone else. Okay. One of the things I probably should do with you guys is kind of share with you the letter that I wrote all I did was write a letter. I never talked to the lady. Mina talked to her. I just wrote a letter. And from that, she called Mina. She asked her some questions. Mina was on her P's and Q's. Nice. And we got the listing, right? I still have never talked to the lady, right? But what I told her, I shared with her that Mina and I are going to work the listing together. I mean, technically, it's Mina's listing. But yeah, if Mina has a problem, she's going to text me about it, right? So we're working it together. I'm not going to leave her hanging. She has an important issue. Mina had one, I'll throw this out there. She had one that at the closing table, the guy was ready to walk. That's a bat line call right there. That's when you use this right there. She was like, Knolly, this guy's ready to walk. It was a wrap. You know what a wraparound mortgage is? Yeah. You seen those? Yeah, it was a wraparound mortgage that they had never told the buyer that it was a wraparound mortgage. They said it was an owner finance, but they never said it was a wraparound. And there was all these extra fees and stuff like that. So I was able to talk the guy off the ledge. He signed the paperwork and moved on to close. He wanted to read like which is fine. I always tell my clients if they want to read it, it's fine. It was like a 50-page contract or some document that they produced at the last 11th hour. Put it that way. Yeah. And so it was about to. So you guys, I'm always there for you guys for those kind of things. Now back to what we're talking about. You get there, you gain their confidence, they're ready to list with you, and they're like, well, Dinko, when can you come out and look at my house? You say, oh, well, I don't actually go out to the homes. What do you mean? Well, I have a person on our staff that's much better at looking at houses than I am. And I used to tell people this all the time, and I still do. I say, I'm not good at looking at houses. And they say, Knolly, what do you mean you're not good at looking at it? I said, I'm good at getting them sold. I'm just not good at looking at it. Well, what do you mean? Because see, a lot of people think it's the same thing, and it's not. Being good at selling is not the same as being, I suck at looking at houses. I overlook all kinds of stuff. My wife comes in there and she's like, they need to do this, that. I'm like, let's get it done, right? Because the solution to everything is price. Right? Yep. But my wife comes in there and she's like, nah, we need to do something about this and that and that. I don't see that. I just see I'm gonna get it sold and whatever. So I suck at it. I'll be honest, I'm not good at it. And so when they hear that, they're like, man, I don't understand that. So then I explain to them, well, Dinko, I understand it's a little bit confusing. A lot of people think that an agent has to be really good at everything. But the reason why I've successfully sold X number of homes, or the reason why 4 people trusted me last week or last month to sell their home is because of this. And then I go into, I do this marketing plan, I do that, I do this. And then you just explain to them what you're good at, like what you do. And you just say, look, my business partner is really good at looking at houses. I mean, they'll tell you what level of granite you have. Like you have a level 3, level 4. They'll check the pH level in your pool. They'll do, not really. They'll check they'll check the height of your shag carpet with a ruler and see. They'll do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not really, but they'll do all that. They're good at that. They're really good. But I stay in my lane. The reason why you and I are on the phone right now, Dinko, and the reason why you picked up the phone and called me, and the reason why such and such referred you to me, is because I'm really good at what I'm really good at. And I'm really good at partnering with people that are good at areas where I'm not good. And one of the things that I'm not as good at is looking at the house. I'm really good at getting it sold. So here's what I do. I've got a business partner that I partnered with, and her name is whatever, or his name is whatever. He's the one that's going to come out to the house. He's going to take, whatever you do when you go to the house. And he's going to look in, he's going to walk through. We've got a checklist. We've got all that stuff. What I'm going to do is get your home sold. You want your home sold, right? That's what you want, right? Yeah. Okay, we want your home sold. That's what you're hiring me to do. What he's going to do, or she's going to do, is this. Okay, that's the second way of doing it. Okay, and when you do that, you partner with a person, and you pay them. I don't recommend that you pay them a split, or do you could do that. You could do a team thing. But I would recommend that you partner with someone that's just a buyer agent. Okay, that doesn't really have ambitions of being a big lister. Because if you go to a listing agent, I'm not going to do that for less than 6%. Because honestly, I don't know how to say this. We have a somewhat inflated view of what we're worth. Does that make sense? I mean, so I'm worth that, because there comes a point, Dinko, when you can put a sign in the yard, and by virtue of the fact that your sign is in the yard, you're going to generate more money for the seller, period. That's the stuff they don't teach you in school. Yeah. And I sit down with my seller and say, hey, because I'm a celebrity in Austin. So, and it's by design. It's not like I just fell into celebrity status. I go out and I make myself known. So when when my picture is fake, and I'm not saying being cocky or facetious, this was engineered. I did this, I created this. So when my picture is in the front of a house, the buyer agent's talking to the client and said, that's Knolly Williams listing. I mean, we got to come correct on this one. Well, agents are embarrassed to submit certain offers to me, right? I didn't do that. I mean, I didn't tell them to be embarrassed. Yeah. That's how they feel. And I let my clients know, hey, when you list with me, just like when you hire a certain attorney, it's the same thing. My mom was denied. She's got a master's degree. She got her master's degree in 4 years. So she thinks she's super smart because she got her bachelor's degree in 2.5 years, master's in 1.5 years. Yeah, she's super smart, super duper smart. But guess what? When it came time for disability, she was declined, 4 times. Finally, she hired an attorney with that law firm, and she was approved. They probably didn't even open the envelope. As soon as the envelope came, they saw the attorney it was from, done, approved, And that's the power you have when you become great, when you become better at your craft. So, and the other power you have is you can go out and hire a lot of people for less than you would normally get them for. Does that make sense? Yeah. A lot of people would work for Knolly Williams just to get the experience for less than you're not going to take advantage of them, but you're going to pay them for what they're doing. So if you got a guy and all you need him to do is spend 3 hours on a listing, then you pay him commensurate with that. You say, look, dude, I need 3 hours of your time, and I'll pay you $500. And you just find somebody that'll do that. There's people out there that'll do it. Here's how I ascertain the condition of a property if I've never seen it before in my life. Okay. I call the owner and I say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, while I'm talking to him, it's just part of the conversation. Hey, Dinko, like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like model home, drop dead gorgeous, call the news cameras and come because this is the home of the year. That's 10. 1 is a teardown. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Dinko, how would you rate your home?
Probably an 8.5. An
8.5. So now, Dinko, when you told me that, immediately I deduct at least 1 point from that, and that's the condition of your house. Okay, because people are psychologically, myself included, not able to look at their home in the reality of what it is because they live there. I walk through my home, it's an 8, when really it's probably a 7. You know what I'm saying? So I will already knock one or 2 points down, and then when I do the CMA, I just look on a scale of 1 to 10 on the CMA. 10 is 400,000. you know, and over here is 350. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you say it's an 8, that means we get 375. It's that easy. You're 380. So now I'll still send my man on the ground or my woman on the ground to verify what you're telling me. Okay. But that's how I do that. And even if that person is an assistant, I always call them a business partner. Okay. Even if I'm paying them an assistant fee, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of agents out there. You're not robbing them because you're paying them $150 an hour. Okay. There's a lot of agents out there right now that would gladly work for $150 an hour. You know, 3 hours of work,
True.
for $500. In the National Association of Realtors, there's 1 point some million agents, right? And there's something like 800,000 or 700,000 of them that did 0 transactions last year. 0. Okay. So let's not fool ourselves. There's a lot of people out there. I mean, you could be a blessing to someone, but you got to partner with the right person. Does that make sense? You might even partner with somebody that has that does staging, but that has a realtor license as well.
That's true.
Okay? And then you say, hey, I'm gonna send you out. You don't really have to stage the house, but I'm gonna pay you $500 just to do a walkthrough. And by the way, while you're out there, I need you to put the sign and lockbox on. You know, would that be all right with you? Oh yeah, no, I'll do that. That's no problem. Okay, cool. I'll throw that in. I'll give you an extra $50 for doing that. I'm gonna hire professional photography anyway, you know.
True.
And now, so that's the second way to do it. The third way of doing it, which a buddy of mine does, which I don't recommend, but he does. He likes to do it because he travels a lot. He just flies in because he does a lot of listings. He just flies in and he does listing appointments like let's say he's in Costa Rica, right, that month. He'll fly into Austin and do for like 3 or 4 days and do a bunch of appointments, and then he'll fly back out. I don't really recommend that. I think it's a waste of time. But that's something you could do.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary. Does that help?
Yeah.
What are you doing now? Like what do you have in the works right now? Like, how are you handling this situation?
So pretty much, I was talking to the seller, and they were interviewing. They're going to be interviewing multiple agents.
Yeah.
Some other people, friends recommended some other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily though, it's her in-laws, so it's her husband's parents, and I ended up generating. I mean, the Salt Lake market is hot, and we ended up generating 7 offers in 24 hours. So
you already listed it?
Well, no, this was her in-laws.
Gotcha.
So I kept falling back on that, and then I explained to her that I negotiate homes differently. So I was like, I understand that I'm not there, but I'm still going to be the one doing the marketing and the one doing the negotiating. And I said, usually other agents will do it this way in that area. However, I don't do it that way because it doesn't get you top dollar. So I do it like this. And then I kind of broke into some economics and all this stuff like that. So then she kind of got blown away with the numbers and with stuff that so pretty much went from like, I don't know if I want to waste your time. We might pick somebody out here because I wasn't there, to me moving into the top 2 spot just within like a 20-minute conversation.
Okay.
But that's just because I don't take no for an answer. I just keep going, keep talking. I mean, one thing that I learned, it's like a little, I don't know, it's like a little trick, is people get scared to start talking. So if you just open your mouth and you start talking, your subconscious mind is going to protect you. So nobody thinks of everything that they're going to say. So once you start talking, it's that fight or flight. And that's pretty much what I did with her. So it was my first time. I said, you know what, Knolly's done it. Whatever, I'm going to do it.
So you did it without consulting with me first.
Yeah.
High five, brother. I love it, man. I love it.
So I just jumped on the phone because she left me a voicemail on Tuesday on my other phone, because I ended up getting an Android, and man, I can't do Android, so I ended up getting another iPhone yesterday, switched everything over. So I just jumped on there, and I just started talking to her. She was kind of like, she pretty much was trying to kind of, once she heard that I really wasn't there, she kind of was trying to get me off the phone almost in a nice way, but I kind of acknowledged it, and then I just kind of went past it. And then I just started explaining to her the process of everything. And then, I mean, of course, it's a referral, so it was a little bit easier. So I was able to say, hey, this is what I did for your in-laws. This is what I did for them. So that's what I'm going to be able to do for you. So I started pretty much just kind of putting those words in there. So I mean, it's the first one. It's kind of weird, man. Like you're not, and the thing is I'm switching brokerages. So even in Utah,
Yeah.
today it's official. Like it's EXP in Utah as well.
Woo!
Yeah, man. But over there, I had my previous broker, and I had her daughter, who was my like co-agent. So I had everything flowing. So right now, like I have nothing really flowing. I just spoke to this other agent yesterday. Right before I called her, I said, "Hey, are you down to do this?" She said, "Yeah." And I said, "Cool." And then I just called the seller up, and I just put her to work. Just started kind of talking, giving her a little bit of a process, and that was it.
Are you open to some coaching around that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I love it. Absolutely love it. I think you did pretty much everything right. There's a couple of things that I would have done differently. Let me. Can I explain?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So first of all, when she said she was interviewing agents, the first thing that I ask to a seller that says that, I say, now what specific criteria? Let's say her name is Darlene. I say, Darlene, I love that you're interviewing agents. That's a great idea, you know.
Yeah.
But here's a question I have, Darlene. What specific criteria are you looking for in who you're going to hire? Like as you're interviewing these agents, what specific questions are you asking them, and what specific criterion are you looking for? And then I just shut up and let her talk. Well, I'm looking for this. I want an agent for that. I want this, that, this, whatever. You know, Darlene, I like that. I like what you're saying. I actually love it, actually. What I found, Darlene, because I work with real estate agents every day, is I found that there are actually 10 questions that you absolutely must ask any agent before you even allow them to step foot in your home. And I know what those 10 questions are, Darlene, because I've sold a lot of houses, you know, or if you haven't sold a lot of houses, you say, because my team has sold a lot of houses. Or if your team hasn't, you say, because my group has sold a lot of houses, right? And I know what those questions are. In fact, I've got them on a handy PDF. Would it offend you, Darlene, if I go ahead and send that PDF to you to help you with the interview process?
Yeah. No, I like that. I actually remember reading that on I think it was I mean, I've been reading so much of your material. I think it was a success with listings. I think it was success with listings, and you kind of went over that. Yeah. And then I looked it up in the pre-listing package. So I looked at your questions and all that. I just didn't bring it up because like I feel like those questions would knock me out.
No, you don't. You have to come up with your own, and that might be a little bit of a trick for you. A lot of people have a lot of people believe. See the answers to my questions are the actually same thing that could defeat me. Like I have a thing where I say, hey, I sold X number of homes last year.
Yeah.
Well, somebody else can say, man, why would you list with Knolly Williams? You know, he's selling over 100 houses a year. I sell 18. I have 18 exclusive clients that I work with a year. Now, why they say 18? Because that's all the business they have, right?
True. And I can give them more personal touch.
Absolutely. So any pro could be a con for someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, if an agent knows, but most agents just get overwhelmed and they just, you know, they just drop out of the game, you know. But I like how you handle it. But I would like to see you come up with a tool like that. I was up on an appointment against a lady that was going to interview 14, I think it was 14 agents. I mean, who would want to do that? Like, you know, that's torture. Yeah. And I told her, I sent her that. She got it down to 2 agents, me and another guy, and I got the listing. But I think you've already done that. The second thing I would have done, I mean, you've already got her down to just the 2. The second thing I would have done, and this is just me, I'm not saying you should do this. I would never have told her that I wasn't there. Okay. Now, if she knew you weren't there, that's different. Because like her friend might have said, "Hey, Dinko, move." Yeah. That is what it is. But going forward, you never have to share with anyone that you've moved. I was talking to David Speedy on a call for like 20 minutes about a hot issue he had. And I just casually mentioned, I was like, man, by the way, I'm in the Bahamas, dude. He didn't know where I was. He could care less where I was. I mean, you guys really don't know where I am now, except for the fact that you see this background a lot, you know I'm at home. But if you didn't know that, it doesn't matter. Nobody, and the truth is, when you work with a seller, you're only ever going to work with a seller for about 60 to 90 days max.
True.
Okay? 60 to 90 days. So what I would have done, I said, hey, Darlene, by the way, if she had to know, first of all, she wouldn't have had to know, and she would have never known. Like my sellers don't know where I am because I don't meet with them anyway.
Okay.
So they don't.
I never knew that process about not meeting with them. So that was kind of it makes sense now. You kind of sell it like, this is the person who's great at looking at your house, and I'm the person so now they feel like they're getting the best of both worlds.
Both worlds, absolutely. And they also feel like I'm humble enough to know where I'm not good. I mean, heck, I'm bad at a lot of stuff. This is something that a lot of people don't know. I'm probably the suckiest driver you'll meet. You're right. Like, I'm terrible, dude. I don't even know how to find my way home.
Oh, man.
I'm just bad with directions. I'm just really bad with that. It's another plus that I work with listings and don't have to go to them. You know? Yeah. So people are like, man, how are you in real estate? Because they think all realtors do is drive around on nights and weekends.
That is what they think.
So I would have never told him that I was gone. If it came up that I wasn't in town, I would have just said, hey, by the way, I'm going to be in Houston for at least the next few weeks. You know, who cares? Like they don't care. They don't care where I am. The phone works. They absolutely, no seller really knows where you are. And I know if I'm just saying, you don't have to lie to them and say that you're there. Yeah. It's just don't bring it up, you know?
Okay.
And they'll never ask. I guarantee you, they'll never ever ask. Now, if they say something like, Knolly, I really need you to, like I had one last month, and the guy was pressing me, and he was like, Knolly, I really need you to come out to the house and whatever. And I wasn't in town. So I finally just told him, I said, man, I'm not there right now. I won't be home for at least a couple of weeks, you know? And we just talked about it over the phone, and it just blew over.
That makes sense.
So
that those you got to put the systems together and kind of just, yeah.
Yeah. What I did when I first, people thought it was a bit morbid, but now that we see people like this, I asked myself this question when I first started really in the game heavy, because I got overwhelmed. Like you'll get overwhelmed when you get too much business. Let me ask you a question. What would happen? People, I want all these listings. I want more listings, more leads. What would happen if you got 21 listings in 1 week?
Oh, it'd be a nightmare. I don't have the systems in place for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I ask agents that question because our team got 21 listings in 1 week.
Well, I remember you had 120 at a time, right?
Yeah, we had 120 something in either active or Patty Limby killing me right now if I was doing that. I do zero marketing. I do zero marketing for listings. I tried to let that business die because I like to teach. I don't find selling real estate that sexy, but I took 2 listings this week. Yeah. I'm taking them left and right. I'm like, what's going on? I do no advertising. I don't do anything anymore because my goal is to build Mentorship Masters up to the point where that's generating, and, you know, it's doing what it does. And I make really good income from my trading and stuff like that, other stuff I do. So I just don't need to. And so anyway, that'll happen to you guys and to all of you guys, even when you quote unquote do start doing something else or retire. Some of you would, like, you'll never retire from real estate. You'll always, be doing it. And my people know that I'm not in town. Like, they absolutely know that I'm not in town because they see it on Facebook that I'm not in town. You know what I'm saying? But they still want to work with me because I've educated and trained them that what I do, I've got a man on the ground or a woman on the ground that can do the things that need to be done that are on the ground stuff.
Yeah.
All the marketing that you do is completely all done online. There's nothing physically that you have to physically be present in a local community to do marketing. Now, the only thing to that is if you start doing farming and stuff like that, you're probably going to want to hire a person to help you with that.
Yeah, I don't plan on doing any farming over there because I'm going to be focusing more on Houston. I just don't want to let the business die down in Utah.
Yeah. You want to get that now money.
Yeah.
So did you have any other questions around that, Dinko? Does that help?
Yeah, no, that does help. I mean, I kind of figured that if I had a pre-listing packet, I could just send that first and all of that. So I mean, that's kind of something that I have to work on. I have one that I had previously, but it wasn't as detailed and as good as like the one that you have. But that's where I had the questions. I mean, I was looking at your pre-listing packet.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, I'm no Knolly Williams, like 80% of this stuff doesn't apply to me. Like, like 80% of the stuff is going to discredit me, and they're going to be like, well, where's Knolly at?
Right. So let's look at that. So this is Lucas's. So in yours, the top tips for preparing your home, that'll be the same. That document will be the same. The property information sheet will be the same. Your cover letter will be, whatever you want it to be. Top tips on showing your home. That's Lucas's. That'll be the same. And Lucas, I'm going to have Lucas work on his margins, because the margins here are a little bit off. See, a lot of times what happens, guys, is, I don't know if you could see that. Yeah. A lot of times what happens is we try to do all this stuff on our own. And, if you suck at something, just admit it, and hire somebody that's good at it. I mean, I guarantee you, like I'll give you an example. I just hired a guy to do my video editing, and I don't suck at video editing. I'm pretty good at it, but it takes a lot of time. That's time I could be spending with Mentorship Masters. Why am I going to spend 2 or 3 hours a day editing videos, even though I want my face out there and all that, when I can hire a guy? You know how much I pay the guy I just hired? It's like $7.50 an hour, $8 an hour. And his videos are better than mine. That's the shameful thing about it, right? He's in the Philippines. He works for me for 4 hours a day, and he does better work. I like doing videos, so I always want to do them. But I guarantee you there's a lot of 15, 16-year-olds probably in my neighborhood that can do a better job at it than I can.
True.
So why not just let somebody else do it? So if you notice, I'm not, you guys have always given me permission. And one thing that with Mentorship Masters, we support each other, but I'm always going to give constructive help. And that is like when you have your margins are off and stuff like that, that gives a hint of it not being professional. And this has nothing to do with Lucas or with you guys, okay? Because I expect you to be unprofessional at doing paperwork. Why should you be a pro at that? You should be a pro at getting your 2 or 3 listings a month. That's what you want to be a pro at. There's 15, 16-year-olds that can put your stuff, make it look nice like that. It just so happens that I used to be a graphic designer, so I know how to make stuff look super pretty. Anything that you do should be what we call enterprise quality, okay? It should be able to be used at FedEx, at eBay. I mean, it should be enterprise quality. If you're doing something that's not enterprise quality, then it shouldn't be done. Or you should have somebody else do it on Fiverr, Fiverr, for $5, $6, $7. I mean, $10. Like for example, I design these postcards, and I do really good postcard design. But if I wasn't good at it, I'd get a Fiverr to do it for $15. Okay, so let's go through those pieces real quick, Dinko, because I know. And feel free to jump off anytime, you guys, except Dinko's he's after class. So he's in timeout right now. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm going through these real quick. So the sales system, you can actually, rip mine and use it exactly as it is. And I have another document in our Facebook group that shows you what sources that I recommend for each of these, like for just listed cards and so on. Like, who do I recommend? You can get your testimonials. I don't call them testimonials. I call them results or case studies. You can get those. That's going to be unique to you. So you shouldn't have a problem with that. The cover letter, you shouldn't have a problem with. The cover sheet, you shouldn't have a problem with. The homework packet is you can identically use mine. The only thing that you'll have a problem or duplicating, I think there's 2 pages here. The top 4 reasons homes don't sell is going to be the same in every market. Okay. Yeah. Poor marketing, bad photos, lousy agent, or price. And by the way, the only reason that I use this sheet, I'm going to help you with this, Dinko. The only reason I use this is because when I and I know you can't see it, but you can download it and see it. When I'm talking to a seller, because I used to do a lot of expireds. Yeah. Okay. And they only had like 3 excuses for why their home didn't sell. Because I'd ask them, well, why didn't your home sell? So rather than disagree with them, because I could do that all day long and look like a jerk and not get hired, I just agree with them. It's just like if you learn martial arts. If someone's putting up resistance, why not use that resistance against them? Don't try to resist it. Well, no, it didn't sell. It was the price that didn't sell it. Out, next. They don't want to hear that, right? So I tell them, I say, now, Dinko, there's 4 reasons that homes don't sell. Can I share with that with you? Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Now, it's either poor marketing, bad photos, you had a lousy agent, or price. Now, Dinko, which of these 4 do you feel affected the sale of your house? Okay. Now, what do you think they're going to tell me?
Probably agent, pictures, marketing.
That, man, my agent was terrible, and his pictures were no good either. And I don't know what he did to sell the house. Yeah, you didn't have all the stuff that it takes, did you? I tell you what, when you hire me, you're going to have everything it takes, and we're going to get you to success. How's that sound? Oh, it sounds great. Okay, great. And I'm always closing. I'm always closing them. Let's go ahead and do the right thing and sign the paperwork. Now, 3 weeks later, the home hadn't sold. Okay, I come back to him. I say, man, Dinko, remember we talked about the top 4 reasons homes don't sell? We talked about that, right? You remember that? Yeah. Okay, great. So number 1, poor marketing. Now, remember the kind of marketing we're doing. You know the marketing's rolling out because we've been keeping you abreast of that. So that's not our problem. Bad photos. Remember we had that photographer come out, take the pictures? They had the drone fly through your front door and out the back. You remember that? That's good stuff, huh? And you mentioned that you love the pictures, so it couldn't be that. So it's not number 1 or 2. You had a lousy agent. Now, Dinko, do you have a lousy agent on the job? You don't, do you? You got me on the case. So, Dinko, what do you think the problem could be? And then I shut up. There's only one other reason, and that's price. And what did I just tell you, Dinko?
That we got to drop the price.
What I told you was I'm doing everything I promised to do. Now you need to do what you're supposed to be doing. I'm doing my job, you need to do yours. Because I always give my sellers the job of pricing their home within reason.
Yeah.
I give them the data, they come up with the price. It's my job to go get them their price. Okay. So since they're over the pricing, I say, hey, your department is kind of lagging here. I got the other 3 departments are good, but we got a problem in your department. How are we going to handle that, Dinko? What are we going to do about it? Right. And so I make them. So that's a page that you can use just as it is. The only 2 pages that you should have any trouble with or need to change. And by the way, there's like 14 pages, and we just got it down to there's only 2 that won't apply to you. Okay. That's the top 10 reasons to trust your home to Dinko, and then the top 10 questions you must ask any agent before you list your home. And we can actually go through this. We won't do it now because it's a little bit of saturation, overwhelm. But what I would do with the top 10 reasons is just come up with just write down as many reasons as you can for why people should trust you. Okay. You were part of a youth program, and you helped do that. You were mentored as a kid by such as, I mean, dude, people think it has to be like they sold this and they did that. Nobody cares, man. They don't even read most of this stuff, right? True. It's your confidence when you come into the door and they're like, man, they're like this fool gonna sell my house. That's how I know this fool's gonna do it. Yep. I know I got them, Dinko. When I see them, they get a little smile on their face because I'm running game. That's what I'm doing. I'm running game. And they get a little smile on their face. And I know what they're thinking. They're like, man, this guy's game is tight, boy. It's good. You know, they're trying to resist being reeled in, but they find themselves getting pulled in like that, you know? Yeah. And I just stop the conversation and say, Dinko, you notice what I'm doing to you right now, right? That I'm reeling you in. You kind of feel the vibe. You're like, man, this guy, is it the real thing? What's going on? You feel that, don't you, Dinko? Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I'm gonna do with the buyer. Man, I can't wait to get my hands on your house because we're gonna hopefully we get them lined up, and I'm gonna work my magic on them just like it's working with you, Dinko. I'm gonna get the house sold for you. Would that be okay? And I just thought, then it's done, game over. You know what I'm saying? But that's confidence. See, when you come in with confidence that way, what are they gonna say? No, I don't. They feed on your confidence. That's what's gotten me more listings. I teach all this other stuff on stage and all that, but that's not what gives me listings. It's confidence. I come in, I could have no pre-listing package. I didn't have one for years, and I'll still get the listing. Now, what the pre-listing package helps me do, and what helps you do, you'll still get it without it. But what it helps you do is sell yourself before you meet them. So once you meet them, it's done. Like if they look at your pre-listing video, they read your book, and they get your pre-listing package, it's game over. Yeah. When you're trying to do this, there's a little bit of work to put this together. Very important to understand this. There's a little bit of work to put this together, but once you do it, a phenomenal thing happens, and you never have to do that work again. It's a once and done. Okay, I've been using the same pre-listing. I got to change it now because it's Keller Williams, right? I had to change it. I mean, it was Keller Williams before, but I hadn't changed mine in 5-6 years, you know, same old packet. So it's a one-time angst for a whole bunch of victories after that. You know what I mean? And so you'll actually get them to be like, man, this guy, they actually, it destroys the competition before you even get to that point.
That's true. And, and where do we get, so for example, when I was looking at all the 900 websites, and then you have like www.knolly.com all over Austin, where do we get what we're able to do through EXP? That way we're able to kind of set this up to our liking. Because I mean, are we still going to be able to do the premier home magazines like does EXP even do that?
I don't recommend that anymore. And actually, since in my new one, I don't even put it because I tell people that you know, nobody reads them anymore.
Nobody,
so
exactly.
They get you results, you know.
Yeah.
So no, I don't do that part. But the list of all the resources of who I recommend is on the Facebook group. And if you can't find it, let us know. We'll send you the exact link.
Okay. Is it on the Mentorship Masters Facebook group?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Is it under files or is it somewhere else?
Let me find it. Let me look. I think it's no, I don't think it's under. It's under files. I think it's under files. Let me look.
And what's it called? So I can look for it as well.
Let me see. I'm looking for it now. You know what? It's not in the files. Check. I don't see it here. Check with David Speedy because he's the one that actually, if I look up Speedy, I'll probably find it. But I won't take up your time now. Check with David Speedy and tell him that you need that, and he'll because he's got it. Because I actually put it together. I had it together and I sent it to him, and then I uploaded it to Mentorship Masters, but I don't see it here. So I think it's just part of a. I think it's just a post where I link to the document, like it's like a Dropbox document or something. Like
and what's the document called? So I can ask David.
Resources. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's titled Resources, or that's in the name. The cool thing about our Facebook group is it's completely searchable. Here it is. I just found it. Here, let me show you. Can you see my screen?
No.
Can you see it now?
I'm still just seeing you.
Oh, you just see me? Hold on.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll help you. I can share it to you with Dropbox.
Okay.
Speedy, you still on?
Yeah, and I've got the here. Hang on. Let me mute my TV. I'm on two devices. 1 second.
Oh, you got me on the big screen? I like that.
Yeah, I got the TV now. Now I'm talking on my phone. Hey, I've got it in Dropbox, and I've actually got folders like this is at the printer at this kind. This is another folder for a different kind of printing, and then this is for home printing. So it's real easy to sort out. And I've already modified it into EXP, but it's also got my personal stuff.
Oh, you pimped it out, huh?
But
Okay.
I will. I'll share it. I already shared it with Mina.
Okay. Yeah. Send it over. Is it? I think I might have. Is it the Knolly Team Marketing Source? The list of marketing resources in the pre-listing package and in my books.
Wait, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the pre-listing package?
Yeah, pre-listing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what you're talking about, Speedy. I posted it on March 22nd.
Okay.
I've already found it. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, so you can use his, or if you.
I can see it.
If mine's a little easier because I
recommend yours, David. Let's use yours, man. If it's up to date, let's go with that.
Yeah, I'll share it with you too, Knolly, so you can look it over and make sure that.
Heck yeah. You're upping my game. I like that, boy. Taking it to a new level.
I changed my questions so Knolly's is all about, you want to have a team because you got all these people. It's like I'm the pilot of the airplane and they're all the crew, and so I'm not like that. So I said, hey, a lot of people tell you they have a team, and like every time you talk to somebody, you got to explain they don't remember what's going on, and it's all confusing, and I will know your situation. So I turned it around backwards.
That makes sense.
I love it. And see, here's the thing, guys. I love it, David. And thanks for mentioning that, because what a lot of my students think and believe is that they got to have all this stuff right. None of this matters. All you're trying to do is get the listing, period. Because here's the thing, Dinko. If you got the listing, do you believe you can sell it?
Yeah.
Of course. So all you're trying to do is add that. So all this stuff, I mean, this stuff isn't going to sell their home. The fact that I did this and that, that's not going to get their home sold. It's the market and price is what sells homes. You know, it's not like I'm going to do anything magical to sell their home. I'm just going to get the listing. And so all this stuff is designed just to get the listing. That's it. Once I get the listing, I'm going to get it sold and they're going to be happy. That's it. If you know you can make them happy, you know you can reach their goals, then it's like, okay, what do I need? What do they need me to do to try? Like, what do I need to do so that they trust me with the sell of their home? Period.
Yeah.
That's it. So, because sometimes we'll overthink it. David will share his, and then that way I think it will really help you because I think you and David have a lot in common in terms of you've been in the game for a couple of years, right, Dinko?
Yeah. It was almost 3 years, but it was in Utah, and I just barely moved down here to Houston.
Welcome to Texas, boy.
Oh,
Hey, we're gonna hang out too.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, one of the promises I made to Dinko, and this is open to anybody, is if you guys get to the point where you want to start doing YouTube, like YouTube videos, I mean, I'm game. I mean, let's hang out and make some YouTube videos together. All you have to do is come up with like we'll spend like an hour together doing it. You just come up with like several topics that you want to, talk about back and forth. And if you think it'll help you, I mean, honestly, my people that know me is more real estate agents. So the only thing that would help you with is referrals, unless you got a product that you want to offer to realtors. So it's not going to necessarily help you with the public. But a funny thing happened when I started teaching classes, my listings started going up because people were like, man, you're the guy that teaches agents how to be successful. I thought the reverse was going to happen. They'd see me out teaching classes and not want to list with me anymore because so funny things can happen when you start doing YouTube and getting yourself out there. So that brings up a good point. I'm going to shut up and let y'all talk. Is that anybody else that's tweaked their pre-listing packet? Go ahead and post it so that we can all kind of benefit from an updated version of this that's not all Knolly. Because a lot of times having stuff that's all Knolly, it's hard for people to feel like they can measure up to that.
What I could do is I have a really simple one. Yeah. That I can upload. That's with my previous company. I mean, it's super, super simple. So if somebody ever wants to have one, yeah, they can just kind of mimic that. It's like super simple. I think it's just a couple of pages. Okay.
And then also remember that EXP has some resources in their resources area with pre-listing packets and all kinds of stuff in there. Most of them I don't like when it comes to pre-listing packet. I'm kind of funny on that because I design mine with the way I sit down with a seller if I'm going to sit down with them, and then whoever I have that goes out in the field. See, everything that I do, all my pieces are psychologically based. So everything is based on psychology. It's not, see, like even this, I'll just give you an example. Top 10 reasons to trust the sale of your home to Lucas Colors and the Knolly team is how Lucas put it, right? I don't care if you ever read this. I just want you to read the headline. If you read the headline, you're done. Because I've said, I'm giving you 10 reasons to trust me. You're like, I trust him already. He gave me 10 reasons. You never read it. It's just like if I say, if I like eating barbecue ribs, which I don't eat anymore, but I still like them. If I said, if somebody came out with an article that says the top 10 reasons you'll love such and such ribs, I'm not going to read that. I'm just going to go try them. It's all psychology, guys. Just like this, top 10 questions you must ask any agent before you list your home. Now, this document a lot of people will use, but only the analytical ones will use this. The high Ds will never even use this document. They'll just be like, man, if he's sharing with me the answers, then he must know what's going on. So I'm just going to list with him. You see? So again, a lot of these things, you overthink it, but it's all like I'll give you another example. My unique Knolly team sales system. It's a marketing plan, but I call it a sales system, right? It's in the marketing plan. Now, is any of these things that I put on here going to sell their home?
No. Absolutely not.
But they think it will. So I have two options. I can say, you know what, Mr. Seller, I disagree with you on how homes are sold because I've sold over 1,000. And it's not marketing at all. It's this. And they're like, well, you mean you're not going to market my home? No, I'm not going to market your home. It's priced in it. well, then I'm not going to hire you. I don't take that approach. I say, oh, you think marketing sells a home? All right, well, I'm going to throw a ton of marketing at you. And when I'm not getting what I want, you're going to give me what I want, and that's price. So I'm going to give you what you want so that you give me what I want. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's all psychology. So that's the reason why when you, I'm not saying have a pre-listing package for the sake of having a pre-listing package. Does have to have the right ingredients, in my opinion, that's going to help me save time, make more money for them, and make more money for me. That's the way it works.
And how would we, the other question I had was, how would we implement the sold over 1,000 homes? So would we just put the mentorship master, like if we were to have that in our listing, if we were to mention that in our, because our signs say it. So if I was to have that in my listing appointment, how would you bring it up? Because I know you bring up, sold over 1,000 homes, a Knolly team. Would we just bring it up saying the mentorship masters group of elite agents has sold over 1,000 homes? Is that
look on the back of your business card. I put it there. I say the elite. I forget how I worded it, but I liked it at the time. The elite, or whoever has a business card.
Yeah, it's so more than 1,000 homes sold. The mentorship master group of elite agents has sold more than 1,000 homes. We are confident we can sell yours too.
Absolutely.
Thinking about buying or selling, but I mean, of course, we wouldn't put that part in the listing. We would just say we're confident we can sell yours too. And then right there, it looks like, oh, this group of these agents has sold over 1,000. So we can just use it that way instead of Knolly team. We just put the mentorship masters group of elite agents.
Absolutely. I mean, you can always piggyback. It's just like, for example, Patty Lynn. A lot of people don't know this, but last year Patty Lynn closed for Keller Williams' office 5,000 transactions. 5,000. Okay. So if I'm recruiting someone to EXP, I say, hey, for our mentorship masters thing, I brought on Patty Lynn. Patty Lynn and I used to work together 10 years ago. So I've known her for years. And last year she closed 5,000 transactions. They weren't all hers. She closed them for Keller Williams' office. But guess what? When you close 5,000 transactions, you know a little bit about real estate. And so it's just piggybacking and it's actually over 2,000 at this point with the way the group has grown, but there's no sense in bumping it up that way. And I tell people, it's not just you. You have what they call a mastermind, because none of us are as smart individually as we are smart collectively. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just put it that way. Trust me, man. Nobody's ever, like when I tell them, hey, I've sold over 1,000 houses, or the group I'm with has sold over 1,000, it doesn't even come up in the conversation ever again. It's just something that they need. All you're trying to do is gain their trust. If they trust you, if they know you, if they feel like they like you, they get to know you and they trust you, it's game over. And so you really, it's just a foot in the door. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not gonna be like, oh, Dinko, you mean you personally sold 1,000 homes? Now, if they did say, they're not going to say that, but if they did say, well, that's the mentorship masters group that I'm with. Collectively, we've sold 1,000, and I can lean on any of our members at any time if we need help. So guess what? Now it's not just, right now we have almost 30 members. So it's not just that you're getting my wisdom, but you're getting the wisdom of 30 other members that are dead set on being top listing specialists, helping sellers just like you. Does that make sense? And then they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, great. Well, let's do the right thing and let's go ahead and sign the paperwork. And then you smile and you shake your head like that. Now, another way you could do it, Dinko, is with Zoom. I use Zoom sometimes if a seller just wants to be face to face, and I tell them, hey, I'm on vacation right now. They don't know that I travel all the time, but it's like right now I just happen to be on vacation. But I definitely can get your home sold. I've got Lucas on the ground back in Austin. He's actually the guy that does this part of the business, and I do all the marketing. And I tell him like that. I said I do the marketing side, and he does more the hands-on and the field and all that. Because that's what he's good at. I just happen to be real good at marketing, and that's the reason why we sold so many houses. And then I just changed the conversation. So like I don't allow them to get stuck on it, because Dinko, here's the thing: people will ask questions just for the sake of making conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They'll say things like, well, are you sure about this? Yeah, I'm absolutely sure. Trust me, we're going to get it done. By the way, I have a question for you. You see how I transitioned and changed it? I don't let them stay stuck on the question that they have. A lot of times we're more stuck in our own mind than the seller ever is. And when we bring up things, they're like, wait a minute, you're not in town. Wait, what? It's don't ask, don't tell. Now, if you being in town will have it will somehow change the outcome, you don't want to be deceitful. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to say you are in town. But I'm saying if you know for a fact that it will have zero outcome on the sale of their home, whether you're in town or not, why bring it up? It's irrelevant. It's not a relevant fact to the conversation. Does that make sense?
Well, the reason I brought it up is because she was expecting me to come to the house
Right.
just like every other agent.
Right.
So I guess I gotta change that around.
And I would even tell them stuff like, Dinko, that's a good point you just brought up, that every other agent, because she might say, well, every other agent, that's a great point you bring up, Dinko, that every other agent does this. And the reason why Mentorship Masters, our group, has sold over 1,000 homes is because we do things differently. Can I explain? And then she'll say, yeah, explain. Well, we do things differently. Here's what we do. We understand where we're weak, and we partner with others who are strong in those areas. Okay, when I got into real estate, I knew right away that I was strong at marketing. And that's the reason why we got 7 offers on your friend's house that referred you, or your in-law, whoever did, that on their house. We got 7 offers because I'm really good at marketing. That's my job. But what I'm not so good at, and a lot of agents won't admit this, Dinko, they just won't admit it. But what I'm not that good at is, going out, looking at the home, doing all that. But I've got a partner with such and such that's really good at it. Now, Dinko, here's what I want you to do. I want you to observe that other agent when they come out to your house and see how well they really look at your home. And you'll see right away that most agents suck at that. They just won't admit it to you. I'm telling you right off that I'm not good at it. But most agents won't. And just pay attention to how they look at your home. And you'll see right away, you'll see what I'm talking about, that most agents just aren't good at it. They're just not good. Now, the person I've partnered with, though, my business partner is really good. And then I'll just call my business partner and say, hey, man, when you go out to the house, I want you to really look at that. You need to do this and that. And so that person's looking, they're like, man, this is, you see what I'm saying, Dinko? It's a game, man. We play the game. We play to win. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Sorry, they're blowing me up here.
No, that makes sense.
All right. I think we're officially over. I'm going to start doing this, guys, just so you guys know, because we're hanging out after class. We've gone 2 hours already. It's no problem. I want to make sure you guys' questions are answered. This right here is going to be some real good material, Dinko, for our other members. It's going to be very rich material for them when they're thinking about taking listings and not being present.
Yeah.
So I thank you so much for playing along and
thank you.
Yeah, with me. So, all right, guys, we're going to end it at that. Love y'all. And we'll see you probably next week for another exciting call. Look out for it. Love y'all.